good evening, everybody. It is the Real Talk Bluegrass. I'm your host, Michelle Lee. Season 2, Episode 5, and 2 amazing, stellar musicians, songwriters joining us here on Real Talk today. Of course, our guests, Aaron Bibelhauser and Mike Fender of FY5. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for giving me some time today.
It's great to be here, Michelle.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
It's a pleasure. Of course, Aaron, no stranger to Real Talk Bluegrass. You joined us back in September with fellow broadcaster Steve Martin. And so you kind of know how this all works and unfolds as we get a little truth out of how things are done in the bluegrass community. And with you two, you guys are two very stellar songwriters, instrumentalists, and of course, you guys have now created an amazing, great song together, collaborating, Aaron, yourself with FY5. And tell us a little bit about how this all came to life and when you guys met.
Yeah, it's a great little story. Thanks for having us on to visit and chat about it. Mike and I actually met at IBMA. We were both kind of panel scheduled to book to co-host a song circle event at the IBMA in Raleigh a few years back, and just hit it off and became good buds, and decided to catch up the next morning, and then kind of just hung out. We got to witness each other's musical adventures there at the World of Bluegrass that weekend, and decided to stay in touch, and followed up and began to write some songs together. And this new single, Time In and Out, is the very first one of those tunes that we wrote together. And Mike will probably tell you a little bit more about that weekend and hanging out together.
I came back to, like, all the bands end up getting, hotel rooms together or whatever. And I came back from that song circle and I told everybody, I'm like, I got a new best friend. And they were... They typically laugh at some ridiculous stuff I say. So, but I meant it. I'm like, I knew that Aaron and I knew right away that we'd be best buddies and we'd be able to write songs together. And yeah, we made several different, like, for the rest of the week we had coffee together, we had lunch together. It was like we were instantly best buds. And every time we've worked together, we've had just a great time. Like it's. I feel really grateful to get to meet Aaron Bibelhauser at this stage in my life. I do.
Yeah.
So he's pretty much like glue now. He's like, you guys are like stuck together like glue.
And now it won't go away.
Aaron has, he's got a lot of great ideas, and I love how much he's including me, and then it grew to include my band too. And then my band all got a new best friend too, because we all just we instantly hit it off, and Aaron has a lot of projects, and so he was like, I want to use FY5 on the project that you did a couple years ago, and Lovin' and Leavin', and we got to do a track on there, and then Aaron and I were talking. We were like, well, let's just record the first song that we wrote together, Time In and Out. Let's just do that with FY5 featuring Aaron Bibelhauser. And so that's an idea, but we were able to pull that off really easy. And Aaron came out, and we got that song all tracked up, and are excited that we're able to produce something, especially these days. It's tough to produce much music at all these days. So
exactly, during this pandemic and everything.
Yeah.
Going to happen and how the music is going to be perceived on the other end as you're putting them together. Now, Mike, of course, you're being a member of FY5. You guys have been together for some time now, putting out some amazing, great music. And tell us a little bit about everybody in the band, because not too many are familiarized with FY5, and because you guys weren't always known just as FY5.
That's right. We started and we were Fenders and Youngberg, and just being a Colorado band, like, trying to play around the festivals. There's lots of good bluegrass festivals here in Colorado. And so we were able to find plenty of work for ourselves those first few years. We're building our sound together out here on the Front Range. And a few years into it, we were like, let's start going to IBMA, or let's start stretching our radius a little bit more. And so it did start myself, and then the couple Aaron and Aaron Youngberg. They have the same name, different Aarons, but a lot of folks remember those guys from the band Hit and Run, which was a big hit on the bluegrass circuit, I think, in the early aughts. So the Youngbergs are some of my best friends I've ever had in my life, and we have two other fellas, Rich Zimmerman on mandolin and Ryan Drickey on fiddle, and it's been just the five of us for like 12 years now, and that's a good long time to have your band together.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you can actually through the years you can kind of evolve together, and if you keep your band together, like a lot of times, I think a lot of times, like, people are like, who should we get? And and they're like, is that band still together? And I'm like, no. Is that other band still together? And like, FY5's still together. We'll end up with the gig. So it's kind of just like a war of attrition a little bit. You can keep from wanting to kill each other. Well, you can end up with a few gigs for that.
Oh man, this song is such a spectacular song. Now let's take a little sneak peek at that special video, Time In and Out, with Aaron Bibelhauser and FY5.
Still just two young lovers walking hand in hand, hoping that this road will lead us back where we began. Time in, time out, forever turning around, forgetting where we're bound. Time in, time out, forever turning.
Man, what an amazing, great song. The video, spectacular. If you want to see it, check it all out in its full entirety, as it is the feature spotlight video on Bluegrass Music TV. And now is like the sixth member of FY5. And
Absolutely.
I consider myself a stowaway on the ship, on the FY5 ship,
I can see you putting yourself up on top of the vehicle and saying, here we go.
I'm a stowaway, but I brought a paddle,
We're happy to have him on board.
Well, this song, Time In and Time Out, of course, like you guys, you collaborated it together. And what was the process of you guys writing it? Aaron, did you go out to Colorado? Did you do Zoom or text or email? How did this song come together?
Well, we've written together kind of both ways in the past. We've written some in person and some, remotely, but and we've supported each other. That's one of the wonderful things about getting to know FY5 and Mike especially, but is supporting each other when we're in our various ends of the geographical spectrum. So when they come out here, we get the chance to hang, and when I get out west, I get the opportunity to visit with them. But this particular song we wrote together remotely. Actually, I had some ideas for a verse and maybe a verse and a half, and the bones of a chorus, but really the meat and potatoes weren't there yet. And I knew it was going to be a really special song, a meaningful song on a very personal level to me. And I have an apprehension to try to reach out to co-writers when there's something super special like that. And I know my intent not to write this song to get some other band to pitch it to. My intent is like to write a song that means a lot to me. But I didn't feel that apprehension because I became an instant fan of FY5 and of Mike Fender's. After I met, I kind of immersed myself in their works and just became immediately very respectful of Mike's ability to craft a song, and it's the whole thing. So I immediately felt very comfortable reaching out, and Mike saved the day, and he brought the song to life. So
well, I'll say, like, I do think that, like what you were saying, like, I don't think I would have been able to do anything with it if it weren't like already kind of on target with like he had a pretty clear focus. Like this is a couple, and very like, you always want to like be specific and universal if you can. And so here was an idea, like, this couple has dreams for what they're going to build together. And while they're working on those dreams, they're noticing they hardly spend any time together. And what do they even have together after they're working so hard to work on what they're working on? And so I just felt like I know that. Like once Aaron was like, this is kind of the core of what I'm trying to dig into. I'm like, I know that core. And I think most people do. And so once I kind of got that snapshot of what it wasn't that hard to get in that space with Aaron and kind of try to add some ideas and then I had some ideas and I sent them back to him and he was like, that's it. Like,
is this going to be a one and done, or is there more? And is there going to be a collaborating album that's going to be put out from Aaron Bibelhauser and FY5?
I wish I could say we had that plan already in place right now, because I would be super excited to do that. However, we do have our own respective careers and bands to keep track of. And I mean, to be honest with you, I want to do that, but I would be personally, as a fan of FY5, I would be advocating to hear another full-length record from FY5.
We need to do that.
So I'm advocating for that. And I have my own projects. I'm playing with a bunch of Kentuckians here called Wolfpen Branch. And we kind of got that rolling. And I have my own solo career to tend to. But this Wolfpen Branch thing is going to be fun. There's some members of some previously prominent bands, some members of the Wooks, some members of the 23 String Band, Newtown. Katie Penn is in that band. But we're having fun with that. So there's just a lot on the table. I like to say it this way: there's a lot on my plate, so I got to finish what's on my plate before I start going back for seconds. But I want to, and Mike and I certainly have more co-writing to do and more collaborations to explore. But we've got the rest of our lives to do that. So we're not going to put out a full record just yet.
Okay. Well, the one thing is I've been seeing your name, Aaron, on a lot of co-writes and solo writes on many multiple artists' projects in the last few months. Is this what's been keeping you busy during the pandemic?
That's part of it for sure. Yeah. But as anybody in the songwriting business or in the music business at all knows, all of this is a very steady crawl. There's nothing that's lightning speed, except for hanging out with Sammy and you on Bluegrass Music TV. That's lightning speed. But none of this stuff works very fast. So a lot of this stuff that's coming out now has been in the pike or in the back of our minds for a year or two. So I'm grateful for the way it's coming together right now, because releasing music to radio, folks like you, is pretty much the primary outlet to get folks to listen to what we're creating right now, because we can't go out and be on the big festival lineup, and even if we are, it's a reduced crowd, and right. And so on. But yeah, it has been keeping me busy. I put out a record 1 year ago with a bunch of sort of household names in bluegrass, Balsam Range and Sean Camp and Michael Cleveland, Missy Armstrong. We're all on that record, and Terry Balcom, bunch of folks. So exciting stuff. But then right after that, the pandemic hit, and I decided to release a short project of Shakespeare meets bluegrass stuff. So yeah, just lots on my plate. But this song in particular,
that killed all your momentum.
To kill all my momentum. No, this song in particular is super special. And the timing is perfect, because it's been a full year since I put out that very meaningful record, and this is a good way to kind of relive that's sort of my end of February, beginning of March, like time to really put out some really creative, special stuff that I've been working on over the winter.
Yeah, so. Exactly. And Mike, what's going to be in the works in the last year? What have you and FY5 been doing, except for hanging out with Aaron and putting out the single?
Well, it's been tough, for us to. Most people in the music business know that you don't really live with your band, but I think the public sometimes imagines, oh, you guys all just travel around in the van together and you live in one big house. And so we had to, keep our distance from each other and keep ourselves safe. And so basically we just touch base as much as we can, because we're pretty darn close, the five of us. And But our fiddler moved back to Colorado during the pandemic. Ryan had been living in New York State, and so it's tough to keep your band together when your fiddler lives way over on the other side of the country. So that was a great thing that happened over the pandemic. And we did play just a few of like super, like here's these pictures shown right now are from this. We did a gig at a drive-in movie theater in October, and it was really cold, and everybody was in their car listening on the radio because they were broadcasting it through radio waves. It was just one of the weird gigs that a band could pick up during the pandemic. And so there we are playing at the drive-in in Fort Collins. We had maybe 4 or 5 gigs. As for our new project, I do have a small batch of songs, and we've been going for a long time now. So I've got, like, every time we go to do a project, I try to have about 20 songs for them to choose from, and pick ones that they like, that are speaking to them, and I don't have to sing them all. Erin Youngberg, our bass player, is, a kind of a co-lead vocalist in our band. And so she often chooses a couple of my songs that she wants to sing. And so so through all the years, I've got some remainders, I've got some other songs that like the band maybe passed on before that I might be like, I want to put that back in front of the band and try to push them to do this one. I don't want to do that too much because I like to leave it to them, like which ones are speaking to you, which ones do you feel like you'd have a voice in.
Right.
But so I think right now we've got material, and then I've got new material that I'm writing. And I like writers do. I write all the time, but I try not to specifically, and Aaron, you might be this way too. I try not to specifically write like, oh, this is a song for FY5, or this is a song that I'm going to try to pedal to Del McCurry, or this is a song that I'm going to try to do with my electric blues band. Like, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm just writing with as much of an open sheet as I can. And so I do have a couple schemes like that, but I'm not sure what I'm going to offer to the band and what I'm not, what I mean?
Right. And I'm sure there's some that you probably, like you said, you go back and kind of revisit, and sometimes you bring them back to the band, and sometimes, you just see where they land and where they fall, and hope the right artist brings your song that you wrote to life in the way that you would like to see it perceived. And I think that's a key thing as songwriters, that you guys, it's a craft, it's an art, and a song. And I can't say this enough. Well, you hear an artist perform these songs, and a lot of folks think those are the ones who are writing it. Not necessarily always the point that they're not, but there's always an additional either songwriter who does that and simply is hoping that an artist can bring it as it was their own. And a lot of musicians do that in the bluegrass community. And I think that with this particular song, time in and time out, with the two of you co-writing it and putting it together, it truly shows the passion that you have as songwriters and musicians, and the collaboration of working together in all aspects of the whole particular start to finish is just a remarkable point for people to enjoy. And of course, besides digitally, they could get it. The best place that they could seriously get it is on your website, Aaron. Tell us a little bit about how folks can go ahead and purchase the single.
Yeah, they can go to bluegrassevolution.com and find more details about it. But, I certainly am an advocate for folks listening to music wherever they are comfortable going. So it's on all the streaming and download platforms. You can also find links to those there at the website. I had some incredibly great help from Melanie Wilson, over Wilson Pickens Promotions. She's done a great job of kind of helping manage all the chaos, putting this website together and helping roll out these releases. But you can find it there. And it's also, when you go to those streaming platforms, it's connected to FY5's page as well. So you can find it under, and I encourage folks to do that. If you're a Spotify listener, go to check out FY5, because I should probably make a playlist of my favorite FY5's greatest hits, but I don't know.
I think that would probably be a little long.
Right. I do want to say something here for a second, because I want to say something about the other folks, because Mike and I are capitalizing because we're the two that are here. But this project was really a huge group effort, 6 people, and then some, and everybody's families too. So And I also want to say something about the very familial aspect of our relationship. These guys and gals have become much more than just friends and acquaintances in the music business to me. I feel like extended family when I go out to Swing Fingers and visit and record with the Youngbergs and hang out with Rich and Ryan whenever I get the chance to. But I'm very grateful for that. So I did want to say that Double A Youngberg, the banjo player on this track, runs a world-class recording studio out in Fort Collins. He's tracked records, produced by Tim O'Brien out there, and all sorts of great artists out there on the Front Range. And he's got a great studio, great space, and I was really honored to get to work with him and his wife, Erin, who played bass on the track. She was I say she's the secret weapon on this track, because she sneaks in there like the second chorus or so. She sneaks in there with like this soaring high harmony vocal above Mike and I, way above Mike and I, and it just really makes it such a rich sound to pair with the fiddle and the mandolin playing of Ryan and Rich. It's been super fun, and I can't express how much talent they've got in this little crew of five humans out there. So lots of gratitude.
A lot of great music from all of you, from FY5 and as well as you, Aaron. Of course, again, I hope people will take the time to listen and enjoy Time In and Time Out, and purchase it as well. FY5band.com, bluegrassevolution.com for Aaron Bibelhauser, and follow all of you guys on Facebook, on all your social media pages, and keep everything up to date. I know a lot of people are looking forward to seeing you guys back on the road performing, and myself, I'm looking forward to more great music of the two collaborations coming together, whether it's sooner or later. I know it's going to be worth the wait. And I just, have to say thank you so much for being part of Real Talk with me today, and sharing with me and with everybody Time In and Time Out. And I know as we get ready to wind things down, we're going to be sure to play a few clips off of that, as of course we've been watching clips of the video from it as well. So, but again, Aaron Bibelhauser, Mike Fender of FY5, thank you so much for getting real with me on Real Talk.
Michelle, thanks so much for what you do. Like Aaron was saying, like when all the gigs vanished, boy, if it weren't for broadcasters and people continuing to put the music out there, we don't know what we do. So we want to make sure we thank you and Sammy and everybody that's working behind the scenes to make sure that the music's still getting out there to people, even if we can't drive our van there and do it ourselves. So thank you so much. And thank you to all the broadcasters that are helping us tell our story, even through these kind of tough times. Well,
it's our pleasure. Our pleasure. And I hope you guys know you guys are always welcome to get real with me on Real Talk anytime, as well as being guests on the Bluegrass Borderline, the Smoke Country Jam, and that. And again, everybody check out Aaron Bibelhauser's website, bluegrassevolution.com. Mike Fender and FY5 band.com is your website. And again, thank you so much for being part of the show today.
Appreciate you. Thank you, Michelle.
Thanks for joining us for Real Talk Bluegrass with me, Michelle Lee, your host. I hope you can join us next time here on Real Talk. But in the meantime, catch me on the Smoke Country Jam Monday through Friday from 7 to noon, and Sundays with the Bluegrass Borderline at noon, all on WOBL Radio, Gold Country. And be sure to check out MichelleLeeOnAir.com.